Hello, anyone in the present or in the future. Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about Looper. Looper is a 2012 action slash sci-fi directed by Rian Johnson. Rian Johnson has done Knives Out, Glass Onion, and Star Wars Last Jedi. So pretty decent movies. I remember Knives Out and Glass Onion is like a Sherlock Holmes detective type thing, so I'm expecting good things. Starring Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Bruce Willis, Emily Blunt, Jeff Daniels. Joseph Gordon-Levitt is from Inception, The Walk, Premium Rush, Treasure Planet, Dark Knight Rises, Knives Out. I remember watching him way back when Premium Rush just came out. It was so cool. Bruce Willis, legend. He's done Split. Link in the description. He's in that movie. Die Hard, Sixth Sense, Fifth Element, Pulp Fiction. I mean, those are just the most iconic movies ever, you know. Emily Blunt was in Oppenheimer, A Quiet Place, Devil Wears Prada, Edge of Tomorrow. Jeff Daniels, surprisingly, you can find him in Dumb and Dumber and The Newsroom. I know him from Dumb and Dumber, but it is really cool to see him do serious parts like this. It is really, really cool. So, what is Looper about? So, time travel is going to be invented in the future. Obviously, it's banned, thank goodness. Only higher government officials use time travel, and they send back criminals and other people they want to disappear into the past. So not like Samurai Jack into the future. They put people in the past, and loopers are the people in the past who make sure that whoever is sent back from the future are killed. And despite being set in the present, there's already a lot of interesting technology being used right now, flying vehicles, and there is telekinesis of some kind, like floating objects, but it's really weak, and it's really for party tricks in this universe. Not that bad. And the weapons are also a mixture of futuristic stuff, like modern guns, and then like Western revolvers, so it's a cool mix. And I can see how time travel is going to be invented soon, because there's flying vehicles, you know. We follow Joe, one of these loopers. The job is really simple, and it gets paid well. A way to earn more money is to close your loop. Closing the loop means that the looper's older self gets sent back and killed by themselves in the present. This creates a nice tying up of loose ends for the government, but obviously seals the fate of the looper, but they don't really care because they get paid. Whatever. One coworker comes to Joe and says that instead of closing the loop, he let the loop run. That is obviously very bad because now you've got a paradox, I think. We follow the future looper and the current looper for a bit. Current looper, he's in big shit and he gets injured, and future him sees those injuries manifesting as he goes. Like if they break his leg, future him starts walking with a limp. It's so cool. It is really such an interesting twist on the future present thing. So Joe eventually decides to close his loop, but it all goes wrong because it turns out that future Joe is Bruce fucking Willis. We are so screwed. I'm going to now refer to future Joe as old Joe and present Joe as young Joe. Makes things easier. He's young, he's old. Makes sense. So we jump to the original loop at how old Joe got here. So young Joe shoots old Joe like nothing else happened, takes his money, and goes and lives his life. He meets a lovely woman, and changes a man, I swear. Now he's cool, he's a cool guy. Old Joe gets taken by the government to close the loop, and his wife dies in the process. Old Joe is now resisting because he wants to go back and save his wife somehow. So he pulls a Bruce Willis and breaks the loop like a badass. After some action and chasing, old Joe sits young Joe down and talks. Not only is he explaining why he's doing this, but also explains a bit about how the time travel stuff works in this universe. I won't go into the details, but it is really cool. Old Joe wants to kill the guy who is organizing all of this looper business, called Rainmaker. Rainmaker was responsible for killing his wife. Like I said, Purr is powerful, so now Joe wants to find Rainmaker. We meet Sarah on a farm with her son, Sid. These names, dude, gotta come up with cooler names. Young Joe runs into her and saves her from a non-existent hobo threat. Long story. Old Joe remembers young Joe meeting Sarah, and he's worried that this will change the future too much and not meet his future wife. Like, if Joe and Sarah gets together, he's never gonna go to China and meet that wife, you know? At the same time, old Joe is busy hunting Rainmaker. Luckily in the present, Rainmaker is still a child. Y'all even joked about going back in time to kill Hitler as a baby, huh? Unfortunately for us, Sid is one of the potential kids. Funny how that works. A Looper sheriff, which is exactly what it sounds like, comes around, sticking his nose where it don't belong. Like, hey, it smells like there's a paradox around here, you know. He gets force exploded by none other than Sid. So Sid is Rainmaker, obviously, in the future. Joe knows this, but he just can't kill him. How could he? He's just a kid, you know. He realizes that old Joe coming back from the future causes Sid to eventually lose Sarah, his mom, and him needing to survive on his own, he becomes Rainmaker later. Joe sees this, and he decides to kill himself and close the loop so that Sid is fine, Sarah is fine, and hopefully this new timeline is better than the old one. As messed up as it started, you know, there is hope. And that's the movie. This movie is incredible. It takes time travel and time loops and really digs into it. The story is great, even though time travel can get very confusing. We understand enough here to follow along. They do explain a lot. I love the details of like young Joe doing something and then old Joe remembers it, or something like a scar happens, like, oh, that just happened because young Joe is doing it now and it affects his future self. It's so cool. It's really, really cool. And the message overall is pretty simple. Revenge is not the answer. If someone goes back to kill this guy, someone else will go back further to kill him first, etc., etc. It's like a vicious cycle. The music fits super well. I can think of a few times where it stood out and I was like, oh, that is awesome. What a sick moment, you know? But by far, the best part about this movie is the acting. Sid's actor was 7 at the time, playing a 10-year-old. I don't think I've ever seen a kid actor this good in my life. Amazing. Of course, the rest of the cast is great too, but I always find the kid actors standing out because they're usually really bad at acting. I mean, they're kids, of course, but not here. Like, I forgot his name, but he is really doing a good job here. So although that being said, I give this movie a 9 out of 10. Good premise, good story to keep the momentum going, and great acting to round it off. If you like time travel, or action, or both, then this one's for you. Side rant. It makes me think of Back to the Future and how flawed that was. I mean, so Marty going back and doing things and like, oh no, my mom's falling in love with me. Not only is that gross, but I'm busy disappearing because the chances are so low that my parents are going to end up together, you know? Stuff like that. It's like, if you want to really disappear, he just goes out like an idiot and does things. You just should just sit and keep his nose clean, you know? But no. Anyway, now we know all about time travel from these movies. I mean, we know time travel doesn't exist because no one's come back from the future yet unless they're hiding themselves. In which case, that's the best possible outcome. Can't wait to see, though. Anyway, that's all for now. Thanks for watching, and bye.